I found one of my old journals, Astral journals, and there's pages torn out, water spilt on it, but I'll go ahead and share an old experience. And this happened on May 5th of 2016. And I'm going to kind of be looking up and down at my journal because I don't remember every little detail on the top of my head. And so, okay. I remember I was in a dark place, a very just dark place in my life at this time, and I just wanted to die. And I thought, okay, I could just kill myself through astral projection. This was my crazy thought at the time. And I'll just go through the void. The void is what people who astral project is this nothingness but blackness. Like wherever you look, it's black, and it's like blacker than black. And it kind of there's something in the Bible that explains outer darkness, and I could kind of compare it to that. So when I first started astral projecting, I always thought if I ever fall through that blackness all the way, that I always knew I would never make it back. And every time I would go in the blackness, deep, like going deep down, I would run into trouble. I would get stuck in caves or pits. I don't even know. I mean, and so where did I start? Okay, this day, that's right, I meditated 3 hours in advance to try to get prepared for the night. And then I separated at night. I started falling through the blackness, and I was just letting myself fall and fall, and I started falling way too fast for me to stop and catch myself. And I'm sure you guys who know about astral projection heard about the silver cord. In Ecclesiastics in the Bible, there's like a verse, and it talks about, before the silver cord is broken. And not everybody sees the silver cord. And I've only seen it a couple times, and some people see it and some people don't. And anyways, so I was falling so fast, and I was really scared, but I was really determined. And then it feels like there's a breakage point. Like, how do I explain this? Okay, if you take a rubber band or a piece of, broken rubber band, and you stretch it from the top to the bottom, and you're stretching it, and that's what it feels like when you go far out somewhere, especially down into the blackness. You could feel the feeling of your soul being connected to your body, stretching out, and that's what I was feeling. And just imagine if you stretch it out all the way and it breaks, and there is no feeling of being connected back to your body. And I was going so fast that I felt like a breakage point. And where I ended up at, okay, I ended up somewhere on a beach, and I was flying super fast. I had a lot of astral energy, and I was flying super fast. And I remember there was this old man, and I was flying, and I hit the top of his top hat off his head, and then he turned around and just giggled at me. And what did I say? I said, I'm still alive, you know. And I say that a lot when I get out of my body or stuck out of my body. I'm like, I'm still alive, you know. And there is this really pretty beach, and all these children were playing. And there was little kids playing in the water, and there was this little girl that looked so cute, and I was guessing the two little boys next to her kind of seemed like her older brothers. And I tried swimming after to the little girl, and everything felt so peacefully and heavenly. Everything felt extremely peaceful and heavenly. And but when I was about to get up, when I got up to the girl, or almost did, I suddenly started sinking. And that was my first time I ever walked in water out of my, like, astrally. And I started sinking really slowly, and the blackness started to come back, and I'm like, right then, I just felt like I made a huge mistake doing this, and I started to get really scared and really freaked out. And I've where did I go? And then it just looked like dark water, and I kept letting myself fall. Okay, yeah. Then I wanted to snap back in my body, but I couldn't. And I was falling through the blackness again, and I ended up in a room, and there was somebody taking a shower in the bathroom, and I was like, should I go ask him and tell him I need help? And I'm thinking, I'll just wait till he's out of the shower. And this guy gets out of the shower, and he has long black hair, and he has a towel at his waist, and he's smoking a cigarette, but I could only see the white part in his eyes. And I'm just like, hold on. Yeah, I just remember being, like, hysterical and needing, I was like, I need your help, hello. And I realized I'm just like a complete freaking ghost to this person. Like, that's what it felt like, just being a ghost. And then so I left, and I go to this different room, and this guy was there that looked like my friend, and I knew it was a demon. A lot of demons will mimic your friends or family, and back then I didn't really know why they were doing that, but now I believe they do that to comfort, to try to comfort you and try to trick you, so when you're at a weak point or where they could get you, they'll move into the attack. And they might not do it the first time. They might wait till you keep coming out of your body, you know. But if you, and I've talked to people too, and they're like, well, how do you know they're a demon? And I'm like, okay, well, if you go, all you have to do to know is to walk right up to them and say, I know you're not my friend or family or so and so. I know you're a demon. And they'll start getting really angry, and you could just rebuke them in the name of Jesus, and there you go. It's just point blank answer. Okay, so but anyways, I got into this room, And I was like, that's right. I was so hysterical out of my body. I was like, help me, help me, help me. And I think I was telling him how I got lost out of my body, and he said, that's right. He said, you're right there. You're here. You're right there in the bathroom, fucking a guy. And I'm like, what? And I go tiptoe to the bathroom, and I see two people having sex in the shower. And the girl didn't even look like me. And I run back out. Hold on. The other. Hold on. That's right. I was just like, what are you talking about? I'm not in there. And he said, go look again. And I went to go peep in there, and all I saw in the shower was the shower running, and I saw a girl huddled in the corner, and she was shaking. She was just shaking, and she had black stockings that I have, and red nail polish on her toes, and she was just kind of holding herself and shaking and not saying anything, just like kind of just like I don't know. And she had the blonde hair like I had at the time. So I run out of, it was just really freaky to look at myself like that. So I run out of there. I'm like, stop effing with me. Stop messing with me. And I try to run out this house, and these two ladies were trying to stop me. And I felt my astral energy getting weaker, like I'm running slower, but I get out the house and I'm seeing just fields. That's right. Hold on. And there was just a whole amount of time where I'm going through these houses and I'm asking these people to help me, and I realized the people I was seeing with the white, with the white part, were still alive. But I didn't know why I couldn't see their pupil. I was realizing the people that I could, the demons that were mimicking themselves like people, I could see, their eyes like pupils. But I knew you could just know that the people with only the white part were ghosts, like they're just having normal conversations with each other, and this wasn't going anywhere. I thought I was completely dead, and I'm like, what is this? This is so freaking scary. I can't be in eternity like this. So okay, where was I in this book? Hold on. So I just kept trying to meditate and out of my body and snap back in my room. And then I get in a whole different room, and there was this girl on the floor, and I said, help me. I need to get back in my body. And there was no response from her, so I started shaking her, and I could see her eyes were rolled in the back of her head, kind of like when I was seeing all the other people that were still alive. That's what it was. I could only, it was like their eyes were rolled in the back of her head. And okay, I seen her eyes rolled in the back of her head, and I was holding her, and I was just shaking her, and I was like yelling, wake up, wake up, wake up. She was totally unconscious, and she looked really thin too. And then I looked at her again. The room was dark, And I stood up and I stepped back and I realized she was wearing the same pajamas that I was wearing before I left my body, and her hair was blonde and wavy like I had at that time. Then I grabbed her by her like mouth right here, and her mouth was hanging open, and her face looked just identical to mine. I'm like, that's me. So, and that really just freaked me out. She was on the floor though. I was on the bed when I left, and this wasn't the same motel room. Didn't look like the same motel room. And what did I do? Okay, yeah, so I just stood up and I thought I was staring at myself, and I was stepping back, and um oh, yeah, I stepped back slowly and totally freaked, and then I was falling through the blackness again. And sorry, I'm like pausing some of this because I'm reading as I'm going along. And so this time, okay, wait. I stepped back when I was. Oh, yeah, okay. I was finally back in my hotel room. My body was on the bed. I could not get back in at all. There was nothing, no touch to my body that how you could just slowly go right back in, or it was just like I was dead. And I started getting really hysterical, and so I saw my phone next to me, and it was on the table, and I tried to dial someone to help, but of course there would be nothing when I was touching the buttons on the phone. It wouldn't do anything. So I'm just fighting my hardest to come back in this hotel room. In about after 30 minutes, it seemed like, I was able to wiggle my toes and fingers, and I'm like, yes, yes, yes. I'm alive. I'm alive. I was wiggling my toes and fingers, but it was still a struggle. I couldn't where was I? Some of these pages are wet and torn, so I don't know what I'm saying, but I remember I would, feel my toes and my fingers wiggle, and I would fall back in the blackness, just falling. And I would keep coming back and just doing the same thing where I'm just wiggling my toes and fingers. And I did finally get back in, and I was so spooked. At the time, back then, I didn't know to call on Jesus Christ or God. I always knew who he was, and I felt his presence here and there, but I didn't know how to connect with him back then, and I never trusted any church, and I still don't trust any churches. The only time I go to church is in LA to go see John Ramirez events, and yeah, I would anybody that has had spiritual experiences like this or have dabbled in any other kind of spiritual stuff, I would definitely look up John Ramirez. He is my hero. Okay, so where was I? There was white. Oh yeah. Okay. When I was back in my body, I had a bunch of like white foamy stuff that came down to my chest. It was like drool, but I remember it was like foamy stuff too. And that was scary. I know when I was seeing myself, my mouth was hanged open. And I think I cried for like 40 minutes, it says. So I was pretty shooken up. And the tingling feeling, which is like the vibrational stage before you leave your body, you could feel the vibration or the tingling or both. I was feeling that for a long time still, and I was walking back and forth, trying to shake it off, and it was like there again, like it wanted to go and take me out of, like, and I just, like, my astral body was ready just to go right back out. And I'm like, I will never do that again. And like, what does it say? Like, I was feeling it flowing through my head, my arms, my legs, my back, like my astral body was ready to go again. And I had to be oh I had I left my body about 5:30 a.m. and I wasn't back until 7:45. And that was it. That was it. And that was really a freaky one. So, I would not go play in the void. If you're astral projecting, I would not go see what's down there. It's like, let's say you're swimming in you in the deep end in the ocean, and you just know there's sharks circling. It's kind of like that feeling. Um, these are just my experiences, and I'm open to hear any of your people's experiences out there. Really, I'd love to hear them. And I've yeah, I've had a few more experiences lately, and they're they're basically just attacks. I'll talk about them later, but I don't feel like it. I'm under the weather, and I'll try to find. I think in this book, some of these like are already on my old channel, and I can't get in my old channel. Dang, this was already 23 minutes.